Hello everyone, welcome to my blog. My name is Kathy Skipper and I'm just going to be showing you a napkin folding card tutorial today. So what you're going to need is your score pal or whatever way you prefer to score your paper. If you use your paper trimmer, that's fine. I have this pattern piece of paper in the middle just because my camera has a hard time focusing on my workspace if it's really muted, so that's why I need that there, just for my camera to focus. So what you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do is score your 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. I'm using White Daisy from Close to My Heart, and you want to score at 3 inches and then again at 9 inches. And you want to turn your paper and do it again on all 4 sides. So that's at 9 inches and at 3 inches. And then what you're going to do is take your piece of paper and you're going to be using your bowl folder. What you want to do is really create solid creases in all the score lines that you just did. So with your bone folder you want to crease down all 4 sides, and you want to do it both ways. The reason is with this card, when it's folded, it needs to have quite a bit of flexibility in which way the folds go when the card is actually done. So again, just go using your bone folder, just go on all 4 sides and just create a solid crease on all 4 sides. The next thing you want to do is you're going to just open up your cardstock, and you need to find the center point in this 6 by 6 square in the middle. So the fastest way that I could think of to do that is to take a 3 by 3 square, any cardstock, and you just place it in one of the corners of that 6 by 6 square, and you just draw in your dot there. So the next step is to take your paper and you're going to be folding it into that center dot, and then you can use your creases, because you've already scored, to show where you need to lay the paper down. And what you're going to find is there's this 3 by 3 square that kind of starts to develop here, so that way you know that your crease is where it needs to be. So what you're going to do is then, using your bone folder again, you want to get those creases really well defined so you can do both sides. So you're going to be doing that on all 4 sides of your cardstock. Find that middle 3 by 3 square and then just use your bone folder. I find it a little bit easier to use your bone folder from the middle and then work your way out, especially if you don't have score lines ahead of time, because you tend to get a straighter line that way. So just a tip that I found that is quite helpful. And then the last corner. So then what you're going to do is open up your paper again, and you're going to see that you've created kind of these larger triangles in each of the middle. So you're going to take one finger and push take 2 fingers and push each of the triangles into the middle, and your squares will start to lay down. So again, you take this piece, and when you fold it in, your 3 by 3 square on the outside is going to take shape. And again, I use the bone folder just to make sure that I've got really good crease lines in there. So, and then the very last folding step that you're going to be doing is you're going to take each of the corners. So there's your fold, but to take each of the corners and again fold it down to the outside edge corner. Using the bulb folder in the middle, you then kind of work your crease out and do that on all 4 sides. The next step that I did is I unfolded the paper, and then I actually used a coordinating color, ink color, which in this case was Holiday Red, and I just actually swiped all of the creases and then the outside of the paper. I also did that on the back just for this triangle piece, the largest triangle piece here, because you'll be putting some pattern paper there as well. So I'm going to put this aside and show you how to cut your pattern paper. So what you're going to need is 3 coordinating colors. So I decided to use this Santa paper, and then I also used this red paper and this other pattern paper. So what you need is for your largest triangles that you're going to have on your napkin folding card, you're going to need a 5.5 by 5.5 square. You need 2 of those for this paper. And for your second contrast color, you're going to need 3 3¼ by 3¼ squares. So you need 3 of those. And for your last color, you're going to need 3¼ by 3¼ square. You only need 1 of those. So what you're going to do is, when you have all your squares, you're going to be cutting each one of them in half along the diagonal. And then you take each of those triangles that you've just cut in half and you cut those in half. So you do that for all those squares that I just told you to cut. So in the end, you should end up with 8 of these triangles. These are your largest triangles. You're going to end up with 12 of the first contrasting color, and you're going to end up with 4 of your last color. Okay? So again, you need 5.5 by 5.5 square, 2 of them, and then you cut it in half on the diagonal, and then cut each of those triangles in half. And then your first contrasting color, you need 3¾ by 3¾ you need 3 of those. And your last color, you're going to need 3¾ by 3¾ and you need 1 of those. So what I did at this point is I actually swiped all of the edges in the Holiday Red ink. And I will just show you the card that I made already. So I will show you how to make this kind of enclosure piece so that the card stays held together. I'll do that at the end. But for now, the way it works is you just slip off kind of the band that I made, and then you just open up the card. So what you're going to be doing is when you go to put your pattern paper down, you're going to be putting the 4 pieces on your largest triangles here, but you're also going to be putting them on the back, just that one on the back here, because you'll see it when you open up the card. And then the first contrasting color was the red one, and I did that on each of the outer triangles, like around the middle one, which is that one that we only needed 4 of the triangles. So now to create the centerpiece, I basically treated it like a 6x6 card. So I used the Magic Book, and the Magic Book is a how-to card book that you can get from Close to My Heart, and I used the pattern called Keep It Level in the Wishes book, and it's on page 107. And so what I did is I took the topiary cardstock 6x6 and I created the card first before I adhered it down, because I wanted to put the embroidery stitching on it, which I'll just zoom in on. So that's using our new there you go, that's using